गुड मॉर्निंग फ्रेंड्स। आप सबों का बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन। इस वीडियो में बात करेंगे इन्वायरमेंटल और साइंस से महत्वपूर्ण प्रश्न। बहुत ही बेहतरीन क्वेश्चन की सीरीज है। बने रहिएगा इस चैनल में, देखते रहिएगा, सीखते रहिएगा, आगे बढ़ते रहिएगा, क्योंकि हम लोग क्या हैं, वी आर स्टिल लर्निंग। यस, इसी कोट के साथ शुरुआत करते हैं। ऑल द बेस्ट। पहला प्रश्न पूछा जा रहा है, व्हाट इज गाया हाइपोथेसिस। ये गाया हाइपोथेसिस क्या है, क्या मतलब है इसका। चलिए, इसका सही मतलब आपको पता होगा कि इट स्टेट दैट फंक्शन नो नो नो। ऑप्शंस है क्या? नहीं। हाँ, इसका सही जवाब है, इट स्टेट दैट द अर्थ फंक्शन एज ए इंटरेक्टिव सिस्टम in which living organisms have influence on their physical characteristics and vice versa. C is the right answer. Gaia hypothesis is an ecological hypothesis proposing that the biosphere and the physical component of the earth like atmosphere, cryosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere are closely integrated to form a complex interacting system that maintains the climate and biogeochemical condition on earth is preferred homeostasis. It was proposed by James Lovelock as the Earth feedback hypothesis. It was named after the Greek supreme goddess of Earth. Hypothesis is frequently described as a viewing the Earth as a single organism. Next question. Consider the following statement. The level of biological magnification is different at the different trophic levels of an ecosystem. Communalism is a negative interaction in the food web which is beneficial to one species and harmful to the other species involved. कॉमनलिज्म के बारे में आपने तो पढ़ा ही होगा, साइम्बियोटिक रिलेशनशिप होता है। तो पहला स्टेटमेंट ही इसमें आपको सही है, बाकी दूसरा गलत है। बायोलॉजिकल मैग्निफिकेशन इज डिफाइंड as a phenomenon of accumulation or increase in the concentration of some toxic substances at each trophic level. The levels of the biomagnification will be different at a different trophic levels. For example, in a pond of water, DDT was sprayed and the producer were found to have 0 point something 4 ppm concentration of DDT. Since many of the types plankton are eaten by some fishes and claims their body accumulate zero point 0.3 ppm DDT. Seagull that feeds the clam accumulate more DDT as one seagull gets many clams. Hawk, the top carnivore, has the highest level of concentration of DDT because you know about that. So simply you can say that the concentration of toxic element increases as we go to the top of the trophic level from producer to carnivorous. Next question about communalism. Communalism. What is communalism? Communalism is a positive interaction. This is always remember that. It is a positive interaction in a food web where one species, I mean commensal, benefits, while the other species host is neither harmed nor inhibited. Example of communalism is the relationship between trees and epiphytic plants. Next question. The relationship between the coral and zooxanthellae shows that what type of interaction? That's a simple question. I think you know about that. That is mutualism. Mutualism is an interaction which is favorable to both the species, like sea anemone get attached to the shell of the hermit crab for the benefit of transport and obtaining new foods, while the anemone provides camouflage and protecting a protection, utilizing its seating a stinking sail to the hermit crab. Some other example of mutualism are you can simply understand by yourself like a close association are called symbiosis is an intense mutualism like coral and zooxanthellae. With the reference to the ecosystem, consider the following statement regarding dieback. Dieback. It refers to progressive dying, usually backward from the tip of any portion of the plant. This is an adaptive mechanism of plants. Dieback concept, you know about that? That's a very easy concept. Simply, a plant lose its upper part because of some environmental factors to save yourself, save its part of the body, and but its roots remain living condition for a long time. And similarly, this is an adaptive mechanism of the plants. Both statements are correct. Dieback refers the progressive dying, usually backwards from the tip of the any portion of the plants. This is one of the adaptive mechanism to avoid adverse conditions like drought. In this mechanism, the root remains alive for years together, but the shoot die. Example: sal, red cedar, silk cotton, tree, etc. Consider the following statement. Which of the above are the keystone species? It's a hummingbird, tiger shark, bees, and sea otters. Otters. Keystone species दिए गए सारे statement key species हैं. Let's see one by one. Keystone species are those that have an extremely high impact on a particular ecosystem relative to its population. The removal of the keystone species from a habitat results in a dramatic change in the habitat. It affects the other species to the extent that they might even get extinct. These species affect the structure, the function of the ecosystem, and the plants and animal species residing in that ecosystem. Let's say some examples. Hummingbird. Hummingbird are responsible for pollination. New plant species take over at places with a low number of hummingbirds. Tigers are tigers are keep a check on the population of the turtles and dugong, which would destroy the seagrass. The fish lays eggs on the seagrass, and their destruction would reduce the number of the fish. Bees. Bees pollinate plants and help in their reproduction process. These plants provide shelter to these insects which are then eaten by birds. Sea otters are responsible to keep a check on the population of the sea urchins and thereby prevent the destruction of kelp forests caused by sea urchins. Next question about a satellite is said to be in a sun synchronous orbit when the orbit lies in the plane of the Earth equators. They travel from west to east. The satellite always visits some same spot at the same local time. Only and only third is right about sun synchronous orbit. C is the right answer. Satellite in a polar orbits usually travel east from north to south rather than from west to east, passing roughly over Earth's pole. Polar orbit is a type of low Earth orbit. Sun synchronous orbit is a particular kind of polar orbit. Satellite in sun synchronous orbit traveling over the polar region are sun synchronous is synchronous with sun. This means they are synchronized to always be in the same a fixed position relative to the sun. This means that satellite always visits the same spot at the same local time. For example, passing the city of Paris every day at noon exactly. This means that satellite will always observe a point on the earth as if it constantly at the same time of the day, which serves a number of applications. For example, it means that the scientists and those who use the satellite images can compare how somewhere changes over time. Therefore, scientists use images series like this to investigate how weather patterns emerge, to help predict weather or storm when monitoring emergency like forest fire, flooding, or to accumulate data on long-term problems like deforestation or rising sea levels. Often, satellites in sun synchronous orbit are synchronized so that they are in constant dawn or dusk. This is because by constantly riding a sunset or sunrise, they will never have a sun at an angle where the earth shadow them. A satellite in a sun synchronous orbit would usually be an altitude of 600 to 800 kilometers. At 800 kilometers, it will be traveling at a speed of approximately 7.5 kilometers per second. Next question, correctly matched mission. New Horizon to search the fundamental life within the Milky Way. Oasis, asteroid study as a sample. Sphere X, study of Pluto, the Kuiper belt. Only and only two is the right answer. Objective of New Horizon mission is to help us to understand the worlds at the edge of our solar system by making the first reconnaissance of the dwarf planet Pluto, by venturing deeper into the distant, mysterious Kuiper belt, a relic of the solar system formation. Objective of the Orisis Rex to collect and bring sample of asteroid Bennu back to the Earth by 2023. The objective of the Sphere X is to survey the sky in the near infrared light to study the birth of the universe, gather data or more than 300 million galaxies as well as than 100 million stars in the Milky Way galaxy. Consider the following statement regarding Artemis mission of program. Artemis, it is the joint mission of NASA and JAXA. It is manned mission. The objective is to measure what happens when the sun's radiation hits the moon where there is no magnetic field to protect it. Its first statement is wrong. So its correct statement is called 1 and 2, 2 and 3. Artemis stands for acceleration, reconnection, turbulence, and electrodynamics of the moon's interaction with the sun. It is the program of NASA. Through Artemis mission, NASA wants to send the first man and the next man to the moon by 2024. The mission is named after the Greek mythological goddess of the moon and twin sister of Apollo, namesake the program that sent 12 American astronauts to the moon between 1969 In 1972, the objective of the mission is to measure what happens if sun's radiation hits the moon and moon have no magnetic field to protect it. Consider the following statement regarding future space exploration. NISAR to track subtle change in the Earth's surface. Sukryan to study the dynamics of the planet Venus. Lupax to explore South Pole region of Mars. Only and only 1 and 2 is correct. NASA ISRO NISAR is planned to be launched in year 2022-2023. The mission will measure Earth's changing ecosystem, dynamic surface, ice masses, providing information about the biomass, natural hazards, sea level rise, groundwater, and will support a host of the other applications. NISAR will observe Earth's land and ice covered surface globally with 12-day regularity on sending and descending passes. The sampling Earth on average every 6 days for a baseline 3-year mission. ISRO plans to launch Sukryan orbiter in the year 2024. Sukryan orbiter will be the first mission to Venus by ISRO and will study atmospheric chemistry, compositional variation, and dynamics of the planet for 4 years. ISRO and JAXA are collaborating on Lunar Polar Exploration (LUPEX) mission that is likely to be launched sometime in 2024. ISRO and JAXA Lunar Polar Exploration aims at in situ observation of areas where water is believed to be exist and often ground data on the quantity of water besides understanding the distribution, condition, form, and other parameters of lunar water resources in the polar region. The mission is also meant to obtain data on quantity and forms of water resources present on the moon. Consider the following statement. A day lasts longer than a year on Venus. One day lasts longer than a year on Venus. Venus and Neptune are the two planets in the solar system that rotate from east to west. Absolutely incorrect. Venus and Uranus, not a Neptune. And one is absolutely correct. Scientists have often new data about Venus. Researchers transmitted radio waves. Simply, you can simply say Venus rotation takes place 243 Earth days. This means a day lasts longer than a year on Venus, which makes a complete orbit around the Sun in 225 Earth days. The new data shows that Venusian planetary core has a diameter about 7,000 km, comparable to Earth's core. Previous Venus core estimate had been based on computer modeling rather than observational data. Venus spin from east to west in the opposite direction from all other planets in our solar system but Uranus. In other quark, it's a day-night cycle, the time between sunrise as opposed to the length of a single axial spin. It takes 117 Earth days because Venus rotates in the direction opposite of its orbital path around the Sun. Venus is one of the just two planets that rotate from east to west. Only Venus and Uranus have this backward rotation. Which of the following adds sulfur to the atmospheric? Volcanic eruption, gases released by the decomposition, or excretion by urea by animals? Only and only one and two. Sulfur enters the atmosphere from several sources like volcanic eruption, combustion of fossil fuel, coal, diesel, from the surface of the ocean, the gases released by decomposition. Animal waste like urea, uric acid, death of vegetation adds nitrogen in the form of nitrates directly into the soil. Consider the following statements. Oxygen from the atmosphere is used for combustion and respiration. Formation of oxide of nitrogen adds oxygen to the atmosphere. Which are the correct?